Well, as the 113th Congress gets down to business, there is so much on the table. And of course, joining us now to talk about it, somebody who knows all about it, Congressman Mike Rogers. Thank you so much for being with us.
Great to see you this morning. Thanks for having me.
Of course, Republican from Howell, representing the 8th District. First of all, let's just focus on, obviously there's so much. A lot of people are concerned the gridlock. You can't get anything done in Washington. But people here want to know, what are the most critical issues affecting Michigan, in your opinion, right now?
Well, the debt, if we don't get a handle on the debt and deficit, it's going to weigh us all down. Nothing will erode the middle class like our nation's debt, and it's rampantly out of control.
And this right after we got over the so-called fiscal cliff, but now we have this big debt ceiling debate brewing. And of course, you know, massive spending cuts, spending problems could happen, what, beginning of March?
Well, there's about 2-month delay. So what happened was, under the law that was passed in 2010, all of the Bush tax cuts were expiring. So everybody's taxes went up on January 1st. So the bill that we were dealing with was trying to fix that problem. And so what would that have meant to the average family here? About $2,200 right away out of their paycheck. I thought that was not the right way to go.
I think most people agreed with you on that.
Especially in a fragile economy. So we got that part. Not everything we wanted wouldn't have been the bill I would have written, but I thought it was the prudent thing to do. Now we have to deal with the fiscal cliff portion of that, which is huge cuts. My argument is we do need to reduce spending. We have to do it. How we do it is important.
And that is where all the debate will really get interesting. I also want to, I know we don't have much time, but wanted to talk with you about gun control, because after Sandy Hook, the task force was set in motion, led by Vice President Joe Biden, and already getting some controversial comments about that, because some people, even Democrats, are saying maybe some of the proposals that they have might be too much.
Well, listen, I was an FBI agent in Chicago. I chased drug dealers, mobsters, fugitives, bank robbers, and when I was done, at the end of the day, I could go home and I carried my firearm with me off duty. My neighbor was a bus driver for the city of Chicago who was in the same pretty tough neighborhood, didn't have the opportunity because they had such strict gun laws. One of the things we need to look at, there are 300 million guns already in the United States. So our new gun law is going to solve the problem, or is intervening on mental health issues with individuals just like we saw do the shootings, is that a more effective, more impactful way to approach it? I think at the end of the day, that's what we're going to find. All of this other is going to be a lot of waste of time. The Second Amendment is pretty clear. So let's move to things that we know can intercede and stop some of these things from happening.
Before we let you go, we do want to talk about some of the cabinet nominees. It looks like Senator Chuck Hagel, former Senator Chuck Hagel, is going to be up for Defense Secretary. What are your thoughts?
I know Chuck Hagel. I think he'll be a fine Secretary of Defense. I think he's going to have some problems in the Senate. Both Republicans and Democrats are concerned about, I think, about some of his past comments and some of his positioning on the war, and that I think will be a challenge for him.
And John Brennan for CIA Director, you said in the break that you had just spoken to the President yesterday about this?
Yeah, the President called yesterday to talk about this, and he's done a great job as the counterterrorism guy. I think he's going to have a few problems in the Senate. If you recall, this was the guy that got out right after the Osama bin Laden raid and disclosed a little bit too much information at the microphone. So I think that will probably come up. I think he'll probably get confirmed, but he's got to get through those troubled waters first.
Congressman Mike Rogers, thank you so much for your perspective on everything going on in Capitol Hill. We'll be hearing more from you, I'm sure, in the coming days. We'll be right back with more of today's news after this.